how have you been?
Kathy Pearlman knows what it's like to get news most parents dread.
They couldn't tell us if she was still living, actually, for quite, maybe a half an hour. We didn't know. We were racing, pushing through traffic, trying to get to her side. It's really frightening not knowing.
Her 20-year-old daughter Liz collapsed while playing basketball. At the time, neither Pearlman nor her husband knew what happened.
Coach Roof came to your bedside and you were still intubated, and you wrote, "How did I do in the trials?"
Liz had suffered a sudden cardiac arrest and a pulmonary embolism. According to the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation, only 6 to 7% of people survive this.
Richard was by her side when she woke up in the middle of the night and she signed, "I love you." We were just very much aware that her life was a miracle.
The American Heart Association reports that sudden cardiac arrest is the #1 cause of death in young people. But Liz was lucky. Her university athletic trainer had access to a defibrillator.
Terry Smith, the guy who employed the AED, said that he applied it within a minute or less than a minute.
An automated external defibrillator, or AED, was in the gym where she collapsed. Michele Snyder lost her daughter Jenny to sudden cardiac arrest in 2008. A defibrillator wasn't available.
Wherever I go, swear to you that I'll never forget the thousands of unbelievable memories we shared. She came down and said, I love you, bye, I'll see you when I get home. I said, I love you. And the next thing I know, the phone rings. It's her number, but it wasn't her. It was a friend saying, come to the field, Jenny fainted. And then the phone rang again, and this time it was a different girl on Jenny's phone that said, meet us at the hospital. And I remember saying, is she okay? And the girl screamed to the coach, is she breathing? And that's when I knew it was not great. Jenny, you are everything I could have ever asked for and more. I love you endlessly and I will never stop missing you.
Snyder didn't know much about cardiac arrest at the time, but now she is the executive director of Parent Heart Watch. It is a national network of parents working to prevent sudden cardiac death in youth.
There she is. Just always shocks me. I had heard of sudden cardiac arrest, but in my mind it happened to old people. I mean, that was the predominant belief.
Did you guys see these for Pearlman? Are they cool?
Snyder wants people to remember that there is a difference between sudden cardiac arrest and heart attacks, and each requires different attention.
Sudden cardiac arrest is an interruption in the electrical system of the heart. A heart attack is a breakdown in the plumbing. So with a heart attack, your arteries might get clogged, and that results in the pain that is a heart attack. Sudden cardiac arrest is a disturbance in the rhythm of the heart, and that makes it stop immediately. And so the only thing that can get you back to survive is CPR and an AED.
Snyder also started the JLS Teen Heart Foundation in honor of Jenny. She is working to get defibrillators placed throughout Northbrook and eventually Illinois.
We feel really strongly that having these wherever kids congregate, not just playing sports, but wherever they might be, in malls, etc., that it's really important to have them publicly accessible. They have to be available at any time because if they're locked up, people can't get to them.
According to Parent Heart Watch, using CPR and a defibrillator can increase survival rates from less than 10% to 60%. Both Liz Pearlman and Snyder say no one should be afraid to use a defibrillator.
I think there was this preconceived notion because it started, in the hospitals and that you have to be trained. Well, the reality is that's not true. It's something that a third grader could use. It tells you what to do.
Plug in cable. Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help.
Once a generation has been exposed to them, at least once, then I feel like it'll be much, much better. We're already on that path.
When someone suffers a cardiac arrest, their heart has stopped. Because the person is already dead, by using a defibrillator, you could bring them back to life.
Look, I didn't want to wake up from dream. I remember that.
I think people think that they're going to hurt them or hurt themselves, and it's really important that they recognize they're not. They're really, really not. And it won't shock them if it's not supposed to.
Many parents don't find out what caused the sudden cardiac arrest. Snyder was one of the few to learn what happened.
The coroner did an autopsy and we found that she had a structural defect. That was something she was born with. You know, we were lucky, but a lot of parents, they don't know what it is. They don't know what causes it. And they can't find it on autopsy. And the reason it's so important is it affects other kids in the family. Many of these conditions are hereditary.
After Liz's sudden cardiac arrest, she found out she had arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia. It's a hereditary defect in part of the heart muscle. Doctors implanted a device similar to a pacemaker.
So if my heart goes through 30 consecutive irregular beats, then my ICD will kick in and reshock the heart to work together.
She has had 2 cardiac arrests since 2008. She works at a clinical pathology lab and plans to continue a career in medicine.
I've always had an interest, and then even more so, the ambulance and the way that they treated me. Like, they kept calling me honey, and their word honey, as stupid as it sounds, really calmed me down. Like, it was like, oh, they really care about me. It really does make me want to stay in the medical field to be able to provide that for other people.
Guitars are happy.
For Snyder, every day brings life one step closer to normal. A few years ago, her family got a puppy named Freddie. She says he was one of the best things to happen to them.
Come here, baby. He's very busy eating.
The first year was awful. My friends were saying, you have to get a dog. They're all dog people. And they're like starting with me. I said, fine. Well, that was it. The next morning, they pick me up. I see these cute little things. I pick one up and I take it home.
Look at Freddie. That's why I can't clean my house. Oh, he says, please.
He has been the greatest thing for us. I mean, he fills our house. You know, you look forward to coming home.
A dog can't replace a daughter, but he does help Snyder and her family cope with their loss. And he helps them find the strength to keep fighting to save the lives of others.
No? It's just background. Sitting here stuffing our faces.